Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron for the New Order. So I looked about the intelligence thing. I could not find any information on how to interact with that. My only guess is that we have to do the global training centers. Like maybe that'll unlock it. I don't know if that's actually true though, or if I'm just coping. We'll find out. Meeting in the rationale, the future direction. Enter, Borman barked, his gaze firmly fixed on a portrait of himself hanging on the wall. He heard the door open behind him, followed by two overlapping cries of "Hail my Fuhrer!" Borman turned around towards the two uniformed officers, speckled snakes in the skin of lions. "Let us avoid pleasantries, gentlemen," Borman said gruffly. "Sit down. We cannot delay discussion any further. Fatherland destroys a strong and stable army to defend its people and preserve its lands. As your Fuhrer, it is my duty to listen to your arguments." Borman sat down in his chair and crossed his arms. "Convince me." "You have my gratitude for allowing us this opportunity, my Fuhrer," Speidel spoke out, taking his seat at the table. "Only by reinvigorating and adapting the Weimar to modern times can we help launch Germany into a new era of progress. We cannot allow the quagmire of the past to be bogged down in our soldiers in the present. We must explore new tactics and new strategies. We need a total review of the Weimar. Many competent and respected men who desire true reform have attached themselves to my ideals." "As they did to Spiel," Schooner sneered. "My Fuhrer, is our army not the strongest in the world? Did we not crush the Allies in the Soviet Union? We have the greatest mind behind the greatest strategies, commanding the bravest and most noble men in the world." Schooner thrust his finger towards Speidel. "This man and his clique are cowards, would strip the Weimar down to nothing in the name of reform." Orban sighed as heavily as the two officers continued arguing. This was getting on to be quite a long meeting. Yes, so you want to Speidel's. I mean, we actually have already taken, I think, all the land reforms. So this actually doesn't do anything. But yeah, let's get a total review of the Weimar. I think we probably should try to reform the army at least a little bit. Your 1970 tech, 66. Sure, let's increase our special forces to be a little bit better. That sounds fine. Conscription. "Let us move on to the next topic," Borman said, lighting up a cigar. "Conscription, where do you stand?" "As I've already stated, my Fuhrer," Schooner said, pushing his spectacles to the sharp nose, "army strategies have proven to be successful. However, an army is nothing without its personnel. The Reich has been set on all sides by threats, from the Jewish capitals in Washington to the yellow power grabbers in the Orient. What if they try to invade us? We cannot allow the fruits of our labor to be snatched away from as our feeble Weimar watches on." Schooner jabbed his finger on the table. "We need more conscripts." "A bloated army is just as effective as a bloated soldier," Speidel waved his hand dismissively. "It'll collapse under its own weight. A reduced draft will tighten our army, and then we'll be sensibly set about professionalizing the Weimar. Professional commanders and professional soldiers, not incompetent yes men leading scared young cannon fodder. Our priority should be quality, not quantity. It is necessary, therefore, that a new draft be voluntary." "Voluntary?" Schooner exploded into laughter and slapped the table heartily. "Forgive me, my Fuhrer, but this man is suggesting that we take the honor and glory of battle away from the young men of the Reich. War is what turns us into heroes. Speidel would deprive the right of our citizens to fight alongside each other in favor of what? A small cluster of so-called professionals?" Borman drummed his finger up against the table. "Yes, we need quality over quantity. And I think we'll have probably like one or two more. Presumably, at least. Meaning, okay, the role of the Weimar." Borman rubbed his temples as the two men gestured and shouted. To have been Adolf Hitler in the glory days surrounded by adulterating columns of generals who hung on to his every pearl of wisdom. Watching these uniformed serpents argue who could hiss the loudest and bite the hardest made Borman's stomach churn. "Enough!" Borman snapped, mashing his third cigar into the ashtray. "It is time for us to address our final topic. What political position should the Weimar have in our greater Reich?" "It is my belief that the military should have an apolitical force within the fatherland," Speidel stated. "It is the duty of the Weimar to serve the nation and its people, not to lobby the government, and certainly not to pursue political agendas. If the military considers itself to be equal to the party, how long until it decides to be the party itself?" "You were spouting lies as usual," Schooner spat. "You would see the Weimar treat as a mere tool, not an instrumental force within our nation. If the party is to be ahead of the Reich, the Weimar is its mighty fist. Together we will work to attention to crush our enemies, but separated we all bleed out. The military should absolutely be a political and true standard bearer of National Socialist thought. An apolitical Weimar would become a disloyal Weimar." Military training, 100 political power. I mean, that does sound pretty nice. Apolitical or political. You know what? We'll have 1 point for Schooner here, mostly because I want that political power for myself. Civil war in Indonesia, you say? Well. Are you allied with any of these people? Not really. So we've got the Persian Military Council. With a bunch of free governments in here. Unitary Republic is allied with you. So are we interested in this war? Not right now. Okay. Meeting of the Reichswehr, the result. Silence! Bormann raised his hand firmly, and the true officer ceased their bickering. I made my decision. Irish Bedal, you are correct. It is time to take true reform within the Weimar to take this place. Effective immediately, you will take the position of chief of the OKW. Bedal allowed himself a satisfied smile and nodded slightly as Scorner's eyes widened in fury. His hands balled in the fist. Thank you, my Führer, Speidel said. For reaching your open hand towards those in the Weimar who desire positive change, you have my full support. This is outrageous, Scorner roared, shooting spittle across the table. He leapt up and slammed his fist against the wooden surface. His eyes pointed accusingly at Bormann, drilling into him with burning eyes. You have just let a traitor into your bed, a secret acolyte of Albert Speer himself. How fucking dare you? Spearman shot to his feet, grabbed his ashtray and launched it towards the raging officer. Scorner ducked in time to avoid a projectile. Remember who you're speaking to, Ferdinand? I know exactly who I'm speaking to. Scorner stiffly brushed the ash off his uniform. The sneer stretched across his face was all but treasonous. Heil Bormann. With that, he marched out of the room. Plato quickly replaced his shocked face with one grateful one as he strolled over to Bormann with his arm outstretched. The Führer replied with a firm handshake and a forced smile. The reformist support goes up. Is that good for me? Oh, the intelligentsia are supportive. Wait, supportive of who, me? Wait, so are the interactions 19 supportive? 46%. So I guess the reformists are now pro us? I think? I'm not too sure, to be quite honest, but I mean, people seem like they're happy with us. By the way, I still don't know how this worked. But at the end of the line. South Africa was a formidable, peaceful place, especially in such a secluded countryside locale. You mean peaceful? I mean, they literally just had one of the biggest wars in the last decades. What do I know? Then again, Emile Maurice was not expecting to be placed in an urban hovel half a block from the German consulate. Further, armed protection from the trio of the CIA's top men reassured him deeply of his safety and gave his desert villa an air of tense relaxation. Emile had been busy scribbling away in his notebook as the nature of fascinating turns of his life had taken. By no means, since a series of choices he felt pride in, it still inspired a certain satisfaction in Emile to have backstabbed the Reich and lived to tell the tale. It was at that moment when an unmistakable rattle of gunfire unleashed against all sides of the building. Emile immediately dropped to his stomach and started crawling to the panic room as he heard only one stream of gunfire respond against the intruders. The window had been letting in the air of the sun into Emile's shelter and fell and shattered to the ground, sending fragments of skittering against him. The front door was kicked in. Reaching up for a panic room's door, a gunshot slammed into his hand, which reached for the handle. Emile screamed. The pain rippled through him, his body going slack against the metal, desperately trying to pull on the door's handle. The approaching assassin pulled Emile off the door and threw him to the closest easy chair. Emile's face cringing in the pain spreading out from his hand. He could see the invader clearly now. A German in tactical gear looked certainly denoting him as a man of the Iver. Emile knew he was doomed. The soldier reached into his pocket and pulled out a photograph. With a single nod, he dropped his rifle, letting it hang around his chest by his sling, and yanked out his handgun. Emile Maurice closed his eyes, waiting for death, and then felt a flurry of pain blossom from his chest. In his last moments, slumped in his easy chair, Emile looked up to his killer and begged him for forgiveness. He would find none. Well, I'm not too sure what we were supposed to do, but I guess he's dead, so I guess that's positive for us. We'll send you over to Moscow. Just here to suffer. Old joke, new lore. There's achievements? I did not know that, but I guess thank you for the achievement. I didn't do anything, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Yeah, we don't need to worry about you too much, right? It's 60%, which seems good. Also, since I can't put any more points in this anyway, so I think we're fine on that. Okay. Enemy ciphers. I guess we'll decipher against the Revolutionary Front. I think they might be their biggest enemy going into the future. The Ukrainian problem. Okay. We have 19 days on this, and this I'm assuming is going to declare war. Unlike Poland, we're not going to give any leeway to the Ukrainians. The Great Romanian Game. The domestic situation in Romania is heating up. More or less isolated from many of the great powers of the world since the end of the Second World War, Romania has kept to itself, clear from German and Italian influence for over 2 decades. Though the great market crash did hurt the Romanian economy, the government used the situation to their advantage and managed to claw back all their lost possessions from Hungary. King Michael I had even managed to claw his way back to the top of echelon of government, where he promptly banned the fanatical Iron Guard from participating in government. Although this move gave him de facto political control over the country, the reality of the situation is that Romania is a deeply divided state. A plethora of far-right groups operate in secrecy, biding their time and growing their roots as rogue Iron Guard partisans terrorize the countryside and any non-Romanians. The situation has recently worsened as another surge of terrorist activity racks the nation. This time, however, the chaos is causing tension in both Italy and Germany, who both sense that perhaps now's the time to expand our influence to a neutral country. It's perhaps the Italians who have the advantage. King Michael and his immediate cabinet, while cordial to the Reich, refuse to deepen ties with a regime that is so akin to the Iron Guard. Italian investors in military missions will likely see a lot of success in the coming days. That's not to say that Germany is nothing to work with, however. Rumors are starting to circulate that the Nazis are supporting the Iron Guard and other far-right underground partisans of the state. Providing our worse, Romania is now the next unbelievable participant in the great game. Well. So we're at 7, they're at 5. If I can get a, like a 1 to 3. 2 to 4, 2 to 4, 1 to 3. What are you, you can pledge to help the guard, reestablish radio connections, find the guardsman in plain sight. I guess we'll pledge to help. Again, I don't want to go over 10. If I can avoid it for obvious reasons, I'd be happy with that. Okay, let us have our new commander here. Italy is now winning more and more fights. And how long until... Can I do anything more here? Again, we're kind of just like biding our time until we get more options. But I mean, 60%, I mean, that seems pretty good. And if we can get Africa to be pro-German again prior to it almost certainly collapsing in on itself, I would take it. I would 100% take it. Maybe that's hot take, but I prefer to have a stronger position here. Okay. Can now interact with you a little bit more. We use 60.4%, which I mean sounds pretty goddamn good. Let's get 20 more points for the people. They're supportive. We could increase the power here. You know what? I want to increase my power here. So you know what? We go 1, 2, 3. You're now allied with us. We're now up to 60, still 60.6. I mean, basically everybody's allied with us except for the slave plantations, and I'm honestly not super worried about that. I mean, look at this. We have how much power? 79%. I don't know if we're actually trying to hit like a certain number with you. We're at 9 out of 9. And actually, I think Italy's going to overplay their hands. That's fine. If Italy wants to do stupid stuff, I'm more than willing to allow them to do it. Have you march in this direction. You come up here. And I don't think Ukraine is going to be able to stop us at all. How many units do they actually have stationed? 9 to 13. Well, we've already got more troops than that on the border right now. Siphon funds, provide training. We can't do this. And we are now at war with Ukraine. Well, we're going to have you guys go. And then we're going to have you and you go as well. And, I mean, this seems... I mean, it seems like pretty much a done deal at this point. Let's have all of you basically to support this or support you. Yeah, support our invasion plans here. Let's review the Weimar. And I would say overall, I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now. But I think it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed, remember thumbs up. You know, enjoy, thumb down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.